Good evening, everybody. We're going to get started. Again, for those of you who've just joined us, my name is Chris Moorhead, and I am your host and presenter for this evening's new student orientation. We're going to take a brief look at the system and how you access it, what is expected of you when the labs are. You'll get to meet some of the people at the staff and get all the contact information. Before we get started, we are going to use the questions panel that exists in the GoToWebinar interface. So if you have any questions before, during, or after the webinar, please use the questions panel, and we will make sure that we address everybody's questions in due course, most of them at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions that arise, please type them into the questions panel, and I will make sure that they are all addressed. Real quick before we get started, one more time for me, those of you who have been online with me since we first opened up the room, there is a raise your hand button. If you can hear the sound of my voice, would you please press the button and raise your hand? And that looks like just about everybody. So good. We'll go ahead and get started here with our new student orientation. I'd like to introduce you to your team. Again, my name is Chris Moorhead, and I'm the site administrator and run support for the Wbfaa Training.net site. That's a site that you're going to be using to access all of the materials online, and will lead you through the guided materials in the book. Pam McKeon and Andrew Miguel are your instructors and serve in different semesters. Most of you will be from semester 1. We'll review who's instructing what later and when all of the different components for the semesters are involved. Bev Kramer runs the Blackboard system, which is a weekly component online that you'll get some more information from Wbfaa about shortly. Jerry, Dan, and Kurt are staff at Wbfaa who run things and do all of the procedural issues. And Felicia Morton is the site support. If you have any technical issues and you call in or email, she takes the lead and solves all of those problems for us. I'd like to take a quick moment and introduce Dan Van Hart of the Wbfaa. Dan, are you online with us, and can you say hello?
Sure am. How's everyone doing tonight? This is it's going to be another good year here for the Wbfaa. As Chris said, we are the support that you will be speaking with in the training office. Chris and his team are the ones that help with technical issues. And people, if you ever have questions on your coursework, or if you have a question about anything on that would be on a midterm or final exam, you will speak with your instructors, and that's just a brief communication guide for everyone that's on the call. And as always, we always say if you need to get a hold of anybody and you've called the other two places, just please give us a call or email us at the very least with any questions that you have at any time, and we will help you out.
All right, thank you, Dan. We're going to go ahead and continue through and start talking about our system. What we're going to do is talk to you about the Wbfaa Training.net site. This is the site that hosts all of the continuing education and the training initiatives for the Wbfaa, and specifically, and more germane to the point this evening, the apprenticeship program. Please make a note of www.wbfaatraining.net. Bookmark that in your browser. We do recommend Internet Explorer as the preferred browser to use when accessing wbfaatraining.net, though it will support Chrome and Firefox. You may have some problems in Safari, but should run as well. Again, if you have the option, we would prefer that you use Internet Explorer. And wbfaatraining.net is where you'll go when you first start the program. Upon getting there, you'll see the login box. That is your email and password. Your password by default is your Wbfaa ID. If you have any questions about your Wbfaa ID, you can access that with Wbfaa, or you can use the lost password link. The lost password link will allow you to put in your email address. The email address that we have when we set up your profile is the email address on file with Wbfaa. And you can use your email address and your Wbfaa ID to log into the system. After logging in, you can go into your profile and change the password if you so desire. but make sure that you get a hold of your WBFA ID in order to get your first login. You'll enter this here and press login every time you come to the system. After login, it'll welcome you back and give you a series of links right where the login bar was. And the link that you're going to want to click is My Transcript. This is the area where any of the CEH hours that you might access in the future will be, and where the apprenticeship program is loaded. Upon logging in, you will see the apprenticeship program as a separate component on the screen. It's listed under apprenticeship program, and any semester that you have been assigned to will be listed, including if you are in semesters 2 through 6. If you've been in any previous semester, then it will display those semesters as well. Obviously, the current semester that you're in is the one that will be your greatest focus. So you will click on the link that lists in there, so you can see semester 1, and next to it the link for semester 1. You'll click the semester 1 link in order to launch the apprenticeship dashboard. The apprenticeship dashboard lists all of the semesters that you have in your training modules for that semester. You'll notice that there are links that are highlighted in blue, then a lab, then links that are blacked out, and another lab. That is because the semester is divided into 2 halves. You can access all of the content in the first half, but have to take and pass the midterm exam before the second half will be unlocked for you. Once you take and pass the second half of the midterm exam, the second half will come back in blue after the instructors have graded and passed your exam. So you can go at your pace through the introductory modules at the beginning of the semester, all the way through the content until you get to the labs. That is your natural break. We'll discuss when those lab times are shortly. The courses themselves are broken up into individual training modules. Training modules consist of 5 elements. There is a reading from your manual that you should have gotten through the WBFAA. So you access your manual, and at the beginning of the WBFAA modules, it will instruct you as to what reading should be done before you proceed with the content. So carefully read the content that is identified for you. This is going to be the foundation of your midterms and finals, as well as the quizzes within the system. As soon as you're done with the reading, there's a short pretest. The pretest is there to make sure that you've done the reading, make sure that you pay attention and go through the reading carefully. You want to make sure that all of the content is carefully gone through, that you absorb that content before you do the online training. After passing the pretest, you want to go into the course itself. The course will give you some self-paced training. Each module is a little bit more than an hour. There may be assignments involved in the content. If there's an assignment that is involved, it'll tell you what to do with it. So you want to process any assignments and post them or email them as instructed. And at the end, you'll take a post-test. Every single module does have a post-test. You have to pass the exam at the end of each module so that you can proceed on to the next module. You must have all of the modules passed in order to take either the midterm or the final. Now, you'll notice on the screen there, the book is the green hue. We're now in actually the 4th edition, which is the purple books. So you should have the purple books, which are the Apprentice Hall books, and those manuals should have been arranged for you by WBFAA. If you have any questions, let us know, and we can put you in touch with the WBFAA staff, make sure that you can get your books. As I said, there's a lab at the middle and end of the semester, and then there are midterms and finals. Those are the labs. And so semesters 1 through 3, April 2nd, and May 14th for the midterms and finals. Semesters 4 through 6 is April 9th and May 21st. At the time of the midterms, you'll be informed where they are and how you get to them. These are on Saturdays, and you will be instructed as to how to log any hours, travel, etc. from WBFAA in order to get to your midterms and finals. Take note of those dates. They will be on the screen in a little bit later in the presentation, so you can make sure that you note when those are. Again, you have to have taken and passed all of the modules in the first half before you can take the midterm, and all the modules in the second half before you can take the final. There is a message queue that exists in the apprenticeship dashboard. These messages can come in 3 individual types. You can have system messages, which are messages sent out by the WBFAA to all classes. typically about midterms and finals or any changes in procedures. And the information that comes from the Wbfaa will come out through a system message, and you'll see system messages in the message box as identified. Your instructor may send out a message to the class in general, and so if there's a class message coming from your instructor, then that will be in that message box as well. Or you may have an individual message from your instructor who may be reaching out to you independently. If you've fallen behind, you're not getting your modules done in a timely manner, you may get a message from your instructor at an individual basis. So every time you log in, please note the message box and take heed of any of the notifications that come there. They're very important, so you want to take current with any messages dated for the semester that you are in. Take a moment and grab a pen and note all of the contact information. If you're in semester 1, then your instructor is Pam McKeon. Pam's been with us since the beginning, so has Andrew, who is currently running semesters 2, 3, 4, and 5. These instructors are seasoned veterans at this. They're very good and always on hand. We encourage you to take advantage of their expertise and their mentoring in this process. Their emails and phone numbers are there for you to use, so please reach out to your instructors if you have any questions. You'll also note the dates of the midterm labs and the final labs. Those are the midterm and final exams, so please take note of those dates and make sure that you have that on your calendars because you have to make sure that you attend the midterm and the final. They're given on those dates and those dates only. So watch those dates and make sure that they are reserved. And again, take advantage of your instructors. Make sure that you use those resources because that's what they're there for. They're very good and very dedicated people there to help you get through this program. From a technical support perspective, we have a system and then Wbfaa support. The system support is available 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. So 5 o'clock Pacific. Technical support is available by a phone at 502-254-1506. Please identify yourself as a Wbfaa Apprentice, and they'll make sure that they solve any questions that you might have at a system level. You can also send an email, support@wbfaatraining.net. I am your site administrator, and my email is listed there, but if you have tech support problems, I suggest you go through support. They're going to be the first ones in the first line of defense to solve those problems. If anything needs to be escalated, you can contact me, but I really encourage you to go through support first. That's what they're there for. And these people will deal with anything about the system itself. So technical support is available for anything from logging in, opening modules, problems with browser support, if your score doesn't post to your transcript properly, if a status is not listed properly, that's only for the system, the Wbfaatraining.net system. Now there is a Blackboard component to this that is separate and will be run through the Wbfaa, and you can see the Wbfaa contact information there, their phone number, and the office contacts at Wbfaa, so please make note of those contacts. They will be able to help you with Blackboard issues as well as anything that is procedural, work hours, forms that need to be filled out, issues with travel and expenses, etc. Anything at the program level goes to Wbfaa. Anything at the system level comes to the Wbfaatraining.net. So please make sure that your support issues are properly oriented back and forth from both sides. As we answer the questions that come from the people as we conclude this, I'm going to be going back and forth between these slides. So you have a moment. Please make sure that you grab a pen and note these different dates, phone numbers, email addresses, and all the things that are pertinent to you within this process. And that's the conclusion of our orientation. I'm going to be taking questions through the questions panel. So if you have a question, please use the questions panel. Type in your question, and we will go through any questions that are there. Dan, I'm going to bring you up off of mute so that you can be available to answer questions as well. Do you have anything else to add before I go into questions, Dan?
No, just exactly what you said with the contact of everybody. Just making sure you keep in contact at any moment. And the big thing is if anything changes during your apprenticeship at any time through any of the semesters, whether it's work status, you know, if you get laid off, or if you get you ever get injured or anything like that, we need to know. So you can, or if you move or anything, we need to know your address, and change your cell phone number, we need to know that as well, so we can stay in contact, email address, all that stuff. And you will be getting a weekly e-bulletin every Monday morning. It goes out at 7 a.m. It has all of the information that you need to know for that week, month, etc. What the dates are, if anything changed. So that's a good way to keep on track. So make sure you check your email that you supplied with us on Mondays, or sorry, that you supplied with the training program, so that we can make sure that you get that e-bulletin on a Monday. And they've already been going out to a couple of you, to most of you that have signed up. We change and update the list every week, so you should be getting them by now. I know a couple of you guys just came in the past couple of days, so look Monday for your e-bulletin. And if you don't see your e-bulletins, just give us a call right away and let us know, so that we can get you on the list, because it goes through constant contact, and sometimes there are certain people block those for certain reasons. So that's another thing to keep in mind. That's where all your information will come from, and all this information's in there too. So that's your resource for you every Monday.
Note that all of your user profiles have been loaded into the system. The classes themselves will become available tomorrow at end of business. So you will be able to access the modules from the apprenticeship program starting tomorrow. You do have your profiles available and should be able to log into the system, but you will not see the apprenticeship program dashboard until tomorrow. Dan, there's a question about what time the midterms are held on those days. Is there a time of day that is traditional for that?
Scheduled from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on those Saturdays. And there's a midterm and a final every semester, so you go through 12 of them during the program.
Dan, there's a question about when do they start recording their time?
Well, if you on-the-job training hours are due the 5th of the month for the previous month. So if you just, like I said, some of you just started, we won't expect hours for you next month. But if you've been with your company for a while, for a couple months now or whatever, you can start turning in hours if you have them, and then we'll always review them anyway. So just make sure you do that. There's forms online. There's links to the forms in the e-bulletin as well. You should have all received a blue book with a letter. If you got the blue book and the letter, that means you can start turning your hours in and logging your hours. And then you'll have a little card that says, has your name on there and tells you your Wbfaa ID on there. So, and that's it came with your CAS-1, which is your agreement with the state. You will be that is yours to keep and hold on to. It's your record of your agreement with the state. And also, you all are registered with the state. You're also registered with the Department of Labor. And if there's anyone out there, if any of you guys are can receive or eligible to receive like GI Bill grants, contact us tomorrow, and we'll talk to you about that, because we're also approved by Veterans Affairs, and we did have a couple of apprentices already that go through and get GI Bill through being in the program. That's just something to note.
Okay. Any other questions? Please type them into the questions panel for me. Any other questions? Last chance for questions. Okay, well, the information that's on the screen is there for contact information purposes, so if you have any other questions, let us know. If you have any problems logging into the system tomorrow with your profiles, use the system side, connect to support, make sure that we get your login properly recorded. This webinar for today for the orientation has been recorded, and if you need a copy of the recording, Wbfaa can provide that to you. It'll be available tomorrow. If you have any other questions from a procedural standpoint, please contact your WBFAA office. Let me answer a couple of quick questions that have come in at the end here. There's a question about, are there classes every weekend when there is a Blackboard session every week? Dan, do you want to address the Blackboard sessions real quick for people?
Sure. So the Blackboard sessions, they're an hour, and for you guys in first semester, you'll be at Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. And you'll be going over primarily fire code in California in the NFPA 72 2013 edition, as well as other things that the instructor will go over. Primarily, it will go over, and those are those schedules, and will be, that'll be every Tuesday, and you'll have a schedule that comes out in your emails that has everything in there that you need, information and otherwise. And the important thing is those are mandatory. You have to be able to be on those. It's a live interaction with the instructor. You will log in and you have to be on those weekly, and except for the midterm week. The midterm week you won't have one, but besides that you'll have Blackboard webinars leading up till then, and then you'll have webinars after the midterm too, and leading up to your final, and then you'll be done with those. And then they start again in the next semester, and you have those throughout your program. So it's a good benefit. It helps you guys get more upfront content from the fire code in the NFPA books, which is great because that's where you're going to all basically be heading, and you're going to be, eventually taking the state exam, which will be, that content will be covered in. So you got to get on there. They're mandatory. I spoke with the instructor yesterday, and she said that there's a new policy going forward where there's no excused absences. You will have to be on every one of them, and then if you had missed one because you were sick or something like that, like a life emergency comes up, then you'll be able to go through, and she will be able to give you some kind of work that you have to make up, and you'll have to make up that work. That's the new policy going forward. But they're great, and you guys will love them. So it's something to benefit you even more than is already going on with the content that Seymour has created for us.
Okay, and all of the content that is online is self-paced content. You can take it at your leisure. You can take it in bunches, but only first half, second half. It is encouraging. We encourage you to kind of plan to take 1 module per week throughout the program so that you stay on track. It's better than trying to cram it all together into one spot, especially as you come in late. So any other questions for Wbfaa or for the system administrators? Last chance for questions. Last chance for questions. Okay, I think that's it. Any other concluding comments, Dan?
Just one small one on the on that coursework for the online modules. It is self-paced, but there are benchmarks that you have to hit when your coursework is due on Mondays. You should have all received by now the spring 2016 academic calendar. Like I said, it'll also be in your e-bulletins and online and whatnot. So you should have that access, and it shows you when things are due. So there should be no reason why you can't get it done. If you have questions, if you have issues that arise with the coursework, like I said, you talk to your instructor. If it's technical, you talk to Chris's group there at Seymour at the support. And then if you have any other questions with it, you just call us. And if you don't know who to call us, and we will help you out. And that's basically all I can tell you. It's pretty smooth when we get communication. So don't worry. don't be afraid to call. Don't not call because you thought something was going to happen. We'll always be there to help you guys out. So just call us and email us when you can, and we'll help you out.
If you fail any of the modules, you can retake them. So take the time to review the content again. You can go back into the content and review it. If you have any other issues with scheduling, or if you've arrived late to something, or have to miss for whatever life throws at you, communicate that with Wbfaa and they'll work with you. And if you have any problems with the technical side, we'll work with you on this side. So that's all we have for this evening. I'm going to leave the screen up and go back and forth a couple times here over the next few minutes so that you can get the lab dates and the contact information again. So if you have any other issues, please make yourself available of the Wbfaa resources or us at a system level. We hope that you enjoy this apprenticeship program. You're part of a good and growing tradition of apprentices coming out of California. It's many years of doing this, and we're always here to support and help you. So thank you again for attending. Dan, thanks for everything at the Wbfaa, and enjoy your semester.